Coming up on 7:30 this morning on Up with KREM, Idaho continues to report new COVID-19 cases in the hundreds. We're looking at the latest case data by the numbers.
Thousands of Washingtonians are still waiting for unemployment benefits. As the Employment Security Office sorts through a backlog of claims, we have helpful resources while you wait.
In cloudy skies, some showers in the mix. We'll talk about what's in store for your day today and what you can expect as we head toward your weekend. Today's Tuesday, June 30th. Up with KREM starts right now.
Up with KREM begins now.
Oh, welcome to Up with KREM on our Tuesday morning. Great to have you with us. And again, the last day of June. Can't believe it. We're already done with half of the year here, Joshua. And of course, heading into a holiday weekend this weekend, and we want the weather to work out as well. So we're going to be checking in with Joshua and Evan here shortly. Evan, let's take a look outside this morning, though. You mentioned some showers to get our day started. Will those showers move out in time for the long holiday weekend?
That's the big question, and the answer is a pretty confident yes. We are expecting most of the wet weather to clear out today and tomorrow. Tomorrow's still going to be a pretty wet day, but as we move toward your Thursday and beyond, we've got a pretty good sign of dry weather, clear skies out there, and moving toward a pretty nice 4th of July weekend. So we do have to get through a couple more days of it, but then things will clear up. Let's take a look at what we've got on satellite radar to start off the morning. Things were much more active a couple hours ago, but as you can see, those showers have drifted off to the southeast of us, and will continue to do so over the coming hours. We're going to dry up for most of the morning hours and then through a portion of the afternoon before some thunderstorms develop. I want to let you know of a couple watches and warnings to note. Flood watch that was in effect yesterday continues today all the way through the central and southern panhandle and western Montana. A flood warning, so an upgraded flood watch. The next step would be a flood advisory. That flood warning is up toward that northeast corner of Oregon, just around Enterprise. If you look off to the left-hand side of your screen, kind of hard to make out there, but a wind advisory also in effect. So a lot going on to start off the day with breezy conditions and some showers in the mix too. Now, for Spokane specifically, we're looking at temperatures in the mid-70s today. That will be just slightly off of our average of 78, so more like upper 70s is what we would normally expect, but instead we will be resting shy of that. Showers will build into the afternoon hours. As you can see, just past about 2 p.m. we've got a chance of that, but it looks like after that, after today and tomorrow with wet weather, we will finally be moving toward that trend of drier conditions. And hey, that sunset not coming until 8:52. Let's take a look outside on the roads to start off your morning. So far, things are looking like they are good to go. A lot of people hitting the roads definitely for that morning commute. This is kind of crunch time where we start to see traffic pick up across I-90. We will let you know if we see any backups or delays. Joshua, I will send things over to you.
I'm still reeling from the fact that Jen pointed out today's the last day of June.
I honestly did not even recall that.
Crazy.
For a second, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know. I did the same thing. I was like, geez, it feels like over the last, 4 months that they have just flown by, right?
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. We'll check back in with Evan in just a little bit here this morning. Happening today now at 7:33 on your Tuesday morning. Governor Jay Inslee is scheduled to visit the Tri-Cities to discuss coronavirus response and recovery. He will be meeting with Tri-Cities public health and elected officials, as well as business and community leaders. And his visits are expected to last from 10 a.m. until about 1 p.m. This visit comes with less than a week after the governor visited Spokane to discuss the city's own COVID-19 response. Now, Seattle Police Chief Carmen Best is condemning the latest round of violence in the CHOP zone this morning. Just yesterday, a 16-year-old boy died from an early morning shooting. And then new in the past 30 minutes, we have found out that a 14-year-old boy is now listed in serious condition at Harborview Medical Center. This was the 4th shooting in or near the CHOP zone over the past 10 days. Right now, there are no suspects in custody in connection with with yesterday's shooting, In a press conference yesterday, Chief Best said, "Enough is enough here. This is something that's going to need to change." Seattle police have not yet announced a specific plan to fully dismantle the CHOP zone. Now, that CHOP zone was created in response to protests over the death of George Floyd. And just yesterday, the former Minneapolis officers charged in Floyd's death appeared in court for a pre-trial hearing. One officer, Derek Chauvin, faces second-degree murder charges, as the other officers face charges of aiding and abetting in the crime. The judge in this case threatened to move it out of town if attorneys and officials don't stop talking to the media. Right now, a tentative trial date is set for March 8th of 2021. That date could change if the men end up being tried separately.
Well, this morning, thousands of Washingtonians are still waiting for unemployment benefits. The Employment Security Office is sorting through a backlog of claims. And here are some resources for you in the event that you are still waiting for those benefits. So for renters, Governor Jay Inslee extended the state's eviction moratorium through August 1st. It prohibits residential evictions and late fees on unpaid rent. It also requires landlords to offer residents a repayment plan to catch up on the unpaid rent. Tenants should report any violations to the Washington State AG's office. Resources like the Housing Stability Project, a regional coalition for housing, and the Washington Low Income Housing Alliance are also available for anyone needing rental assistance. Any family in Washington State with a child enrolled in a K-12 school who receives free or reduced lunch is eligible for extra food benefits. The Pandemic EBT Emergency School Meals Program is a temporary food benefit to help families buy groceries while schools are closed. The program is for all students regardless of citizenship or immigration status. The only requirement is the child must be eligible for free or reduced price school meals. This week, families already receiving food stamps can get additional funds. Now, to apply, you have to do that by August 31st, and you can call 877-501-2233. You see that number there on your screen. In the meantime, here are 3 things to know to get your Tuesday morning started. 2 of Idaho Governor Brad Little's staff members tested positive for coronavirus. Now, it's unclear when they tested positive. However, Little's press secretary says the staffers did not have direct contact with the governor while they were infected. As of this morning, the governor has not been tested for COVID-19. Well, happening today, our nation's leading infectious disease expert is testifying on Capitol Hill. It is underway right now. Dr. Anthony Fauci and other top health leaders will testify on the state of the pandemic. According to Johns Hopkins University, the virus is now linked to more than 500,000 deaths around the world, including more than 126,000 in the U.S. alone. Today's hearing comes 2 days after the Health and Human Services Secretary warned the window is closing for the U.S. to get the situation under control. Today, Amazon announced it will give one-time bonuses to its frontline workers. It's paying out a total of $500 million. Full-time Amazon employees, including Whole Foods employees and delivery drivers, will each get $500. Part-time workers will each get $250. Joshua, we'll send things back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Jen. 7:38 now this morning. We're going to take a look at stage 4 in Idaho, still being as far as the Gem State is allowed to move forward this morning when it comes to the state reopening plan. So we're going to take a closer look at the latest Idaho cases by the numbers. Yesterday, Idaho.gov did report its 8th straight day of triple-digit single-day numbers, and the overall total now is at 5,752 cases confirmed in Idaho. In fact, in June alone, Idaho confirms 2,578 new cases, so that number is higher than the entire months of April and May combined. Now, keep in mind, if we do look back to April 2nd, this is basically the day that for months marked the highest single-day increase that Idaho had seen, well, until this week. Now, it was the peak of the initial outbreak that just 1 week after Idaho's stay-at-home order when that number first happened. But even with those high peak numbers, April and May combine for 2,110 overall cases, shy of June's total by 478. We can also look at the age breakdown this morning of the cases that have been confirmed throughout Idaho. The state of Idaho actually represents all of these cases and says that the average age of the Idahoans who have tested positive is at 39 years old, so right here. And people from the age of 30 to 39 have been tagged for 917 of the confirmed cases of the virus. People in their 40s have been linked to 806 of those cases. But even if you add those two groups together, it still doesn't reach the numbers being reported in this bar 18 to 29. That's where 1,962 cases have been reported. That is also more than people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s combined. We can also look this morning at the latest numbers of recoveries and hospitalizations. It is worth noting that 4,073 of the overall cases this year have reportedly recovered, so good news there, more than 2/3 of the total cases. And only 322 people in Idaho have been hospitalized, and only 114 people have had COVID-19 cases so bad that it warranted a trip to the ICU. It is worth noting this morning that as of yesterday afternoon, Idaho.gov specifically lists Kootenai County and Bonner County as two of the hot spots in the state to watch this week. So we will continue to keep our eyes on the numbers in North Idaho as well as throughout the state in the days and weeks ahead. All right, taking a look at now what is trending as we approach 7:41. On social media this morning, people are looking at Petri dishes that show the benefits of wearing a mask during the ongoing pandemic. We welcome back Dana McNichol this morning to not only explain how this trend is putting things into perspective, but Dana Marie, it also has some local ties as well.
That's right, Joshua. Well, this image right behind me is 4 Petri dishes that show bacteria from respiratory droplets. Now, this image is from Dr. Richard Davis out of Sacred Heart Medical Center right here in Spokane. He did this demo to show what masks do to prevent the spread of COVID-19. This is really interesting. Now, wearing a mask blocks respiratory droplets coming from your mouth and throat. In the first demo, Dr. Davis sneezed, sang for 1 minute, talked for 1 minute, and then coughed twice. He did all of these things towards the culture plates with and then without a mask on. As you can see, the left side is no mask, the right side is the mask side. What a visible difference you see right there. Now, in his second demo, he coughed for at least 15 seconds from different distances while wearing a mask and then not wearing a mask. He distanced himself 2, 4, and 6 feet away from those Petri dishes. As seen by the bacteria colonies, droplets mostly landed less than 6 feet, but a mask blocked nearly all of them. Now, Dr. Davis does hope that these examples show how respiratory droplets that contain COVID-19 could spread, and hopes this encourages people to always wear a mask. So if you need another reminder, this is a great visual of that. Joshua?
Thank you very much. That added context always helps out, Dana Marie, so we appreciate it here this morning. Still to come here on Up with KREM, chipped credit cards were first introduced as a way to help keep our money safe. But what is that chip actually supposed to do, and is it working? After the break, we verify.